Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to talk about the Dell Precision R3930, and specifically we're going to focus on memory. Let's get going. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell Precision R3930. Do us a favor, if you find anything that helps you in this video, click that like and smash that subscribe. All right, let's hop in. This video is going to be specifically dedicated to memory. So let's go ahead and hop in. It accepts DDR4 memory. There are 4 DIMM slots inside. You can use a number of different speeds, 2133, 2400, or all the way up to 2666. Yes, I do understand that there's some questions out there about, can we use 2933? Can we use 3200 speeds? Technically, you can. Now, they're not going to function at that. They will definitely clock down to 2666, but even to just get them to function, you do need to make sure that you have the E2200 series proc inside, not the E2100 series, and you do need to make sure that you have an updated BIOS. And yes, then you can put in the 2933 or the 3200, but it will clock down to 2666, which is the true max speed for the 3930. Well, what about the DIMM sizes? Well, you can use a 4 gig, 8 gig, 16 gig, or all the way up to 32 gig. And let's talk about that a little bit more in depth in a second. What about the different types? Well, we can use Non-ECC Unbuffered, which is essentially a desktop module, or we can use ECC Unbuffered, which is a version of a server module because it has ECC, which is error correcting code. So what is the max that you can get with each? Well, according to Dell's spec sheet, for ECC Unbuffered, the max you can get is 4 16 gigs up to 64 gigabytes. And with non-ECC, you can put in 4 32 gigs to get up to 128 gigabytes. But we played around with it, and as long as you again have an updated BIOS, you can put in 4 32 gig ECC Unbuffered to get 128 gigabytes. And again, if you put in 3200 speed, it's just going to clock back down to 2666, which is the true max speed. All right, now that we know a little bit more about the speeds, the sizes, the types, let's go ahead and hop in and show you how to install them. All right, have my ESD gear on, so we're safe to work inside the machine. All we're going to need is the memory, no tools necessary. So pop your latch, lift the top. We're going to need to remove the air baffle, which will be nice and simple. So we're just going to pull this black piece straight up. So here is the CPU. As we mentioned, there's only one CPU inside, and it gets an Intel Xeon E2100, 2200 series. And then we have our 4 DIMM slots over here. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to remove some older memory. These are 4 gig modules, and we're going to be replacing them with 32 gig DIMMs. So let's go ahead and show you how we like to remove our modules. So I like to just pop each one of these out. And then I'll come over here and do the same. And basically just get them all ready to go. And then now I'm gonna start removing them and putting them into my tray. All right, got my tray. So we're gonna remove one at a time, nice and gently. So we're just gonna come over here and put them into our tray. And now we're going to install our new modules. All right, so which DIMM slots are we going to put them in? Well, this is a great question because we're just going to load them up and put it 128 gigabytes, so we're loading them up all the way. But what about if you are only putting them in 2 DIMM slots, or you're only putting them in 1 DIMM slot? Which slot do you put in first? This system is a little different than a lot of the Dell systems because white is normally the start of the memory channel and black is normally the second slot of the channel. But this one's flip-flopped. So this is going to be A0. And this is going to be B0. So if you're only putting in 1, it'd be right here. And if you're putting in 2, you'd put it in the second one, or the second black one, I should say. And then if you're putting in 3 and 4, obviously it'll go into the white ones, and this is going to be A1, and this is going to be B1. So again, it's A0, A1, B0, B1. So those are the way you would do it. So it'd be the 2 blacks and then the 2 whites. So again, we're just going to max it out. So we're just going to fill them all out. But one of the things I did want to note before we install it is right here, there's a notch in the middle. This notch, and let me actually rephrase it because it's not perfectly centered. It's just off a little bit, and that's the point here. This notch, which is known as a key, needs to be lined up properly, because if you have it lined the wrong way, you could potentially damage the leads here, or you could damage the DIMM slot. So just make sure you have it lined up properly. So in this case, it'll be faced this way. And then the other thing I want to note is right now I haven't fully installed the module. Even though it's sitting in there, you need to hear these 2 clicks right here. And those 2 clicks let you know that the sides have come up completely and grabbed the notches right here on the side. This top notch will pull down and you'll get a firm connection with your lead. So that's the way that you want to do it. So if we were only putting in 2 DIMM slots, again, it'd be the first 2 blacks, and then we'll do the 2 whites after. And one of the things I always like to note too at the end, make sure that all your tabs are fully in, because if they're sticking out just a little bit, the DIMM will not register and it'll show as a bad DIMM or potentially a bad channel, and then you think you have a bad DIMM. So one of the things I always recommend to people is rotate your modules around. This will help you to identify if it is a bad DIMM or a bad DIMM slot, or maybe it just wasn't seated properly and that's all it needed to be, was just rotated around. So all right, well, hey, if you made it this far, click that like, smash that subscribe. And if you're looking for any memory upgrades, SSD upgrades, or even custom built servers or workstations, we do Dell, we do HPE, Supermicro, IBM, Cisco, we do new, we do used, and we certainly love the opportunity to earn your data center or your home labs business. Please email us at sales@cloudninjas.com. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Take care.